Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Hello and welcome to Business Access TV's coverage of the Things TT Marketplace. We are at the UWI St. Augustine campus in Port of Spain, Trinidad. We have a full show for you, so let's get started. We've now caught up with Risa Lessie. She is the founder of Things TT. Risa, welcome to Business Access TV.
Thank you.
All right, tell us a little bit about Things TT.
Things TT is a Trinidadian initiative to give local entrepreneurs and producers a space to come and sell their product, as well as to gain access to new and potential customers. So a lot of the products here are actually locally made. Some of them are handmade, some of them are manufactured locally, some of them are designed specifically for our market. So this is a space where they all gather to sell and kind of promote themselves.
How important is a market like this to the overall development of entrepreneurship in Trinidad and Tobago?
I think it's very, very important because small business in Trinidad and Tobago, while there are certain public sector initiatives and even private sector, it's really dedicated to small business of a certain level. So a lot of these persons who are here are very involved in their business. So there may be a one-man show or two-person show. So having them in a space like this gives them the opportunity to grow and develop, learn selling skills, learn their own marketing skills, decide among themselves how exactly they want to position their branding and, project their growth. So I think it's very important.
The country is in a recession. Do you think Things TT is now coming at an opportune time and providing opportunities for entrepreneurs?
I would like to think so. Aside from the actual physical market, I've launched the online store, which is a more affordable medium for vendors and a more recent, because the market takes place 4 times a year and the online store is 24/7 every day, every month. So I think it comes at the recession has opened up a lot of opportunities for vendors to actually just explore and grow and look at markets beyond Trinidad. So the online store as well offers them the opportunity to sell their products both locally as well as throughout the region and the USA.
As a female entrepreneur or a woman in business, how is it in Trinidad and Tobago?
Being a woman in business, I would admit getting into it, I had reservations because I wasn't sure about the business climate. But being in it, I would say it's not that much of a disparity between a male and a female dynamic, and it's actually been an area that I was kind of researching more to see if women are disadvantaged, but no, well, if you look around, a lot of the business people here are actually women. So, yeah.
All right, Risa, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Access. We're going to look around and talk to some of your vendors.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
We're now with Nicole, and she is the owner of Made with Love Designs. Nicole, tell us a little bit about the products you have displaying here at Things TT.
Okay, well, I have handmade pendants with, I make them out of wood, glass, and acrylic beads. And I also have handbands, I have anklets, same glass, wooden or acrylic beads. And it's all handmade.
Is there a room in the TNT business community for something like this? We know about imported goods from overseas. Is there room for authentic handmade products?
Well, there should be, and we should be able to export as well.
How difficult it is though competing with those products and trying to get buyers to be interested in what you're selling?
It's difficult, but once you keep your prices at a reasonable level, people can afford to buy, and you have plenty stock, so they'll buy more.
The products are made with love. as you say. Do you think that gives you some sort of competitive advantage in the market?
Yes, I guess people are looking for a little love and a little kindness and a little giving. So I usually have a bowl where I have free stuff. So I have free stoppers today. And it's all about shabby chic jewelry for me. I bring back the hippie kind of generation of the 70s, the love children. And that's basically my inspiration.
We're with Kirk Langton, and he's the manager of Lush Kingdom. Kirk, welcome to Business Access TV. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, Lush Kingdom is designed by the artist James Hackett. Everything here that you see is done strictly off of his computer, his design. We basically create these prints, send them to different manufacturers across the world, and of course, this is, you see it ending up here on sneakers, scarves, socks, books, etc. Right? Because we have an online presence where we sell everything and more. Right?
How important is an event like this, Things TT, to a local business like yours?
Well, this is exactly what we need. People have been clicking like online. What we saw is that 100 people click like and 3 people go to the site. What we do when we do this pop-up is so that people can touch the product. They can tell the quality, and then it drives them back to our website to actually do more purchasing.
All right, Kirk, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, well, I'm the founder of Dejanet's Bath and Body. We make natural soaps, creams, candles, body butters, all natural to make, every woman look beautiful on the inside and the outside. We make it with local ingredients, so we have like hibiscus and nuni, we have like morning brew, we have turmeric and lemon. And all of our products are beneficial to your skin, and we are trying to promote to stay away from the chemical products. So that's where we make stuff that will be beneficial on the outside, and you'll look and feel beautiful.
All your raw materials are sourced here in Trinidad?
Most of it is sourced in Trinidad, like for example our coconut oil, our hibiscus flowers, our turmeric, lemon from Rough Skin Lemons. So most of the base ingredients are local.
All right, what's in the morning brew?
Oh, well, morning brew, we got local coffee beans, and it have castor oil, palm oil, olive oil, so you get the benefits of all the natural oils and butters, and as well the additives.
All right, Chanel, thank you so much.
You're welcome, and have a good day.
We take our first break on Business Access's coverage of Things TT. We are here in Trinidad and Tobago. More when we return.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Business Access TV's coverage of Things TT Marketplace here in Port of Spain, Trinidad. We are now with Katyan Thomas and Amanda Villarreal, and they will tell us a little bit about their business and the products they have on display today. Let's start with Amanda. Amanda, tell us the name of your business and a little bit about the products.
Hi, my business name is Linus Soaps and Such. You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram. We have body butter and soaps and body scrubs that's $35 and up, right? Our best sellers are the mocha and the cotton candy swirl.
Let's turn over now to Katyan. Tell us a little bit about some of the products that you have on display.
Hi, my products are soaps, candles, scented candles. I do foot soaks and lip balms. I get the encouragement from my cousin who encouraged me to do the class that I started, and from there we expanded ourselves. So,
all right. These products are sourced. Well, they're made from locally sourced material, right?
Yes, it is from aloes from in the yard, saffron root from in the yard. There, oatmeal, natural products.
Well, you were telling us about one of your best seller. Remind us what it is and why do you think it's such a good one?
Well, the mocha and the cotton candy and the dragon's blood is our best seller, right? Mostly because people love the smell, the scent of it, right? The mocha contains, well, actual mocha, and people love the scent of the mocha, so they most likely tend to buy it, seeing as it smells real, like you can eat it. And our cotton candy, it has...
And it is scented with cotton candy. But people love the scent, so that's one of our top sellers.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for making it Business Access TV.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
My main products, what I focus on right now is my peanuts. I do scorpion pepper peanuts. As you can see, the hottest pepper in the world, I would say. I don't know, all kind of different pepper coming around now, but this is the hottest pepper, right? And then I have the seasonal one, which is, it's seasonal with shado beni, garlic, and sea salt. Well, all my products I use sea salt, right? And then, well, you can get the basic no salt or salt, slightly salted, or if you want with mild pepper, you can get anything you require. I have like tamarind sauce, which is a good seller too. This has no pepper in it, and it's sweet, so kids can use it. It's kid friendly. And well, I do different types of pepper sauce. For example, this one here is shado beni, our local shado beni or bandania pepper sauce, more mild flavor. Then we have the bad boy, which is the scorpion pepper sauce. Again, the hottest pepper. But it has some flavor in it, just not heat alone. Just a little flavor with maybe pomsite. You may know it as golden apple. And I have another flavorful one, which locally we call this mother-in-law. I don't know why they call it mother-in-law, but I have it as cut up pepper. So this has lime juice, carrots, karaili, radish or murai, pomsite, garlic, salt, basic. I try to go to different markets. So any market I see pop up, I would just sign up for it. I just want to expand, let people know the kind of products that I have.
We're now joined by Noelia Cipriani. She's the owner of Noelia's Paper Creation. So now, the interesting thing about Noelia's designs is that it's made of paper, but if she didn't tell us, I definitely wouldn't know, because these jewelry looks like nothing like paper. So tell us a little bit about how do you make these things?
Well, it's a very simple process. I use gift paper, normal gift paper you buy in stationery stores. And I use a process of rolling, and it is sealed with a sealant, so it is protected from any weather and water. It makes it water resistant. So it's a normal, simple process that I use to make these beautiful beads.
How important is this in terms of for the environment?
It is important for the environment because I repurpose. What I use is gift paper that's normally purchased to wrap a present and then it's discarded. What I have done today is that I repurposed the gift paper into beautiful jewelry because, as you know, the properties of gift paper, it does not fade, it does not rust, it's hyperallergic, and very beautiful patterns are available to me easily. So that is my reason for using gift paper as a media for beautiful paper jewelry today.
Well, what has been the response from the participants, well, the other vendors, and of course the people here at Things TT?
Oh yes, the response is tremendous because one, people are beginning to be more aware of buying local, one, and two, my creations are very tropical in color. So they are looking at the pieces and local products that are reflecting their personality and their culture of Trinidad and Tobago. What people are looking at my table and they pass it straight because they say just another piece of jewelry. But I have to let them know that it's made out of paper, and then they open their eyes that, wow, this is something that's eco-friendly and organic. And it is made into these beautiful pieces of jewelry that they could wear any time of the day.
All right, Narela, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Cheesecake House is the only local company that has 101 different flavors of cheesecake. We have an organic line where we have eggless, gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan cheesecakes. So more or less where most of the cheesecakes has basic flavors, we sort of incorporated a lot of our local fruits into it. So like avocado, soursop, passion fruit, flavors that you wouldn't usually hear in cheesecakes to create something different, even sorrel and punchacram for the Christmas time.
What's been the response to the cheesecake?
It has been absolutely amazing. Every week we're at a different market and people follow us on Facebook and they're excited. They put reviews that actually make me more passionate about doing what we do. They make me feel like if it's important because other people believe that it is important. They enjoy it.
How important it is for a local business like yours to incorporate as much local ingredients as possible and local fruits and vegetables?
Well, it's very important to me because I tend to feel like every time we walk into a supermarket, we see all these foreign things and it doesn't feel like it hit home. Only when I started creating cheesecakes with local flavors did myself and even other people started to appreciate that we actually have great fruits here. We have a lot of nice products that others can enjoy, wherever others think it's exotic and special in some way. We locals eventually start appreciating it more than we did before.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have so much more for you from Things TT Market here in Port of Spain, but that's on the other side of this break, so stay with us.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back. We are in Trinidad and Tobago at the Things TT Marketplace, where there's a wide variety of products. And joining me now is Erica Simpson, and she's with Cottage Accessories and Bags and Things. Erica, welcome to Business Access TV.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about the products you have here on display today.
All right, at Cottage Accessories and Bags and Things, what we do is total local handcrafted stuff. So we make all our bags ourselves. We do all the designs ourselves. We do our fabrics, our batik and tie-dye fabrics. So we do clutches, fold-over clutches, tote bags, messenger bags, school bags. We do things like beach wraps and placemats and stuff. A wide variety of items we do.
I see you have in your card handmade for you by bags and things.
Yes, we do total, as I said, totally local handmade. So we, as I said, I represent two businesses today, Cottage Accessories and Bags and Things. All right, the owner of Bags and Things is Deborah Mitchell, and I am the owner of Cottage Accessories, but I'm representing the both businesses today. And that's what we do, total local, handcrafted all the way.
How difficult it is for local entrepreneurs in a market like this pushing locally made products?
Well, it is becoming easier now because I think people are now more conscious of local product. I mean, before it was a bit hard, but I think people are more conscious now of local products. So they're actually looking for that local gift. And what we specialize in, we do not repeat our patterns at all. So that, I think that's the up we have, that we give you that unique, thing. And then our tie-dye, batik, and our full fabric design aspect, so that you don't see two of our bags anywhere. And that's what our shoppers like.
Hi Sonia, how is things TT going for you this time around?
It's going well. We had a lot of people who came by looking. People are now calculating their budgets because it's Christmas and they have to get a little bit of everything for everybody. But we have great products because it's an organic, all natural body scrubs, and the price point is quite a good price point because it's $45 for a scrub. So a lot of people like it because they can buy a number of different ones and give to quite a few people.
Tell us a little bit about some of the variety that you have here, and what are some of the benefits of using your scrubs?
Well, first of all, the body scrub is good for exfoliating as well as moisturizing. The exfoliant is either sea salt or brown sugar, and we all know that the brown sugar is good for you because it has glycolic acid in it as well. So it gives you almost a chemical peel, but not as strong as a chemical peel. So the exfoliant will take off the dead skin that you have on your body, and you all don't like to put on lotion, and you all end up a little bit ashy and stuff. It's the perfect thing for you all.
Hi, my name is Marianne from Delcuore Designs, Trinidad and Tobago Art from the Heart. So here at Things TT, it's my second year here supporting the initiative, and it's showcasing Trinidad and Tobago, the natural Trinidad and Tobago, and encouraging people to learn more about the country, explore more, and get involved in conservation as well. So to do that, we have a range of postcards of different areas around both islands. We also have Chiclay block mounts and canvases available, magnets, calendars for next year with 13 different photographs. So the challenge is, if you haven't been there before, try to get there in 2018, and then you'll have 13 more new places that you've been to after the end of 2018. We also have puzzles this year, introducing puzzles as well for those who like that little bit of mental stimulation. And then for those, the technos, we have mouse pads, notebooks, and then also to add a little bit more creativity to it, we have hand-painted clay pots and cacti plates for sale.
How important do you think it is? You're talking about the challenge, the 13 pictures. How important do you think that is to the tourism industry here?
So Trinidad and Tobago has the highest biodiversity in the Caribbean. That means we have the most number of plants and animal species, and I think everybody in the country should try to learn as much as possible about it and learn how they can influence the survival of these different species.
My name is Anne Lorraine Brown, and the name of my business is Chic Designs by Lorraine. And the major part of this business is actually satin caps. So I'm really doing headwear. And the satin caps, it's not just caps that you just wear for fun or for style, but actually satin is very, very good for your hair. So I have a little information here, the benefits of satin for your hair, which keeps it soft. It keeps the hair products from transferring from your hair onto your pillowcase and giving you acne and that kind of thing. It also breathes. And then additional to that, I have the satin pillowcases. So the satin pillowcases along with the satin caps gives you a real comforting rest at night. I also have the turban headbands, which really came from my customers. They said to me, why not make something that we can wear outside when we have a bad headache. Because the satin caps, they started wearing it on the outside, but actually it's for sleeping. Or you wear it in the house when you wash your hair and that kind of stuff. And I decided to make the turban headband in 2 styles. So this is either for a bad headache, or some people tell me, and we have no hair, so we need to cover our heads. So it serves a good purpose.
Why did you decide to be a part of Things TT Market?
Okay, Things TT, I heard about Things TT before. I came to a few of their markets, and I just love the layout. I love the ambience and the atmosphere of the entire thing. So I decided, you know what, before I couldn't do it, but now my time is more available. So I decided to come into the market and have fun here today.
And that's where we have to leave it today at the Things TT Marketplace here in Trinidad and Tobago. We hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Camille Gale in Port of Spain. Thanks so much for watching.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2 or 3 years the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production and going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
there's one thing that we are clear on. The right to life supersedes every other right.
We applaud Prime Minister Andrew Holness's stance, cauterizing murders, shootings, domestic violence, rape and other violent acts committed against our citizens is an absolute necessity. We continue to encourage you to call 311 and tell what you know. After all, silence breeds violence. On today's Jamaica Magazine, we are highlighting two important segments of the population, the deaf and seafarers. Stay with us.
Sign with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sign with me.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 23. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called on world leaders to double their contributions to the Green Climate Fund, GCF. The fund is seeking to raise $100 billion by 2020 to aid developing countries adapt and increase their resilience to climate change.
An ambitious and successful replenishment will enable our Green Climate Fund to fulfill its role of channeling adequate and predictable climate finance to where it is most needed. I am confident that our fund will continue to respond to the needs and ambitions of developing countries, but we need to place it in a position to effectively do so.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was addressing Sunday's high-level luncheon held under the theme, An Urgent Call for Countries to Partner for Climate Action. The event was jointly hosted by Prime Minister Holness and his Norwegian counterpart, Erna Solberg. Mr. Holness is on assignment in the U.S. state of New York, where he's representing Jamaica's interests at the United Nations. The Prime Minister will be addressing the United Nations Climate Action Summit, the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy, and the United Nations General Assembly, which will take place from September 21 to October 1. Mr. Holness will also be holding bilateral talks with several leaders on the margins of the UN General Assembly. During his absence, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is in charge of government. In other news, the Jamaica Constabulary Force will be rolling out its revamped traffic management system next month. The new system will regulate the issuing of tickets, address the accumulation of thousands of unpaid tickets, and restore public order among unruly motorists. While making the disclosure, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says a centralized web-based system will coordinate payments, demerit points, court fines, and the issuing of electronic warrants.
This is, of course, the value added of the new traffic ticket management system. It allows officers of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch to access real-time reports that detail information on all warrants that have been issued for an individual and flags the warrants that remain outstanding for that individual at any point in time, so in fact you can know who they are, what they're outstanding for, and find them and charge them.
Minister Chang was speaking at the handover of 80 motorcycles to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, on Friday. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson says the 80 motorcycles will be deployed in town centers and hotspots across the island to allow for quick response and enforcement of traffic breaches. The increased mobility, Major Anderson says, will greatly impact traffic crashes and road deaths.
This is something that we are paying particular attention to, and for the last part of the year, both through our enforcement strategies and our presence, we are hoping to get a reduction.
The government of Jamaica and the People's Republic of China have signed a protocol to govern the export of frozen lobster to China. The agreement, which was signed on Thursday in coordination with the General Administration of Customs of the People's Republic of China. Fisheries Minister Audley Shaw this year.
I urge all our relevant stakeholders and our potential exporters to adhere.
Signed in 2017 for the export of fisheries products to China. Since the signing of that MOU, Minister Shaw said teachers in 75 schools across 7 parishes will be taught how to diagnose and correct various language JCIF. The 6-month course is being funded by JCIF at a cost of $20.6 million.
What we want to do when we have a creative learning-based platform that will assist children with learning disabilities, it is a win not just for the teachers who are themselves and gone through professional development to ensure that they can teach our children.
Dyslexia, hyperlexia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, autism spectrum disorders, and other learning difficulties. Speaking at a JIS think tank, NWC's president Mark Barnett says permits usually require housing developments to have...
For those developers who would have been approved and based on the certificate of approval issued by the NWC, which is also used by the parish council or the municipal council as a means of granting development approval, they are going to be mandated before getting their final connection to the NWC system in terms of those requirements.
Mr. Barnett says storage is a requirement for continued water supply to customers in the event of a disruption in the NWC system. Meanwhile, Mr. Barnett is also recommending that persons modify their premises to facilitate rainwater harvesting.
So where persons would have put in a townhouse complex, an apartment complex, most of the driveways paved, it is just simple an approach to put a small storage, capture that rainwater that is flowing from those surfaces, and you could use that for your on-site irrigation of your common areas rather than utilize the potable water.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Jamaica is making significant strides in its quest to become...
The seas call them home. Home. Where the northeast trade winds dance through the sounds of reggae, where the cockpit country shadows the world's fastest man, the vanguard of the Caribbean. The seas call them home, home to Jamaica. Jamaica is the 3rd largest island in the Caribbean and the largest English-speaking island state, with the 7th largest natural harbor in the world, essential for a robust shipping industry. Jamaica also has the 2nd largest transshipment hub in the Caribbean. These developments are driven by a commitment to honor the international maritime conventions that Jamaica has signed, establishing a maturing partnership with the International Maritime Organization, IMO. This 40-year partnership brings consistent advocacy for the maritime interests of Jamaica, the Caribbean and the small island developing states, and the least developed countries. The seas carry them on, shaping an expansive and progressive maritime vision, fueling a structure and infrastructure of container, cruise and bulk cargo ports, maritime administration and ship registration, maritime education and training. This vision led to the expansion and upgrading of port facilities island-wide to capitalize on additional trade and larger ships accessing services through the newly expanded Panama Canal. The expansion positions Kingston as one of the region's major ports. The Port of Kingston is also equipped to offer a range of maritime logistical services. For example, operating as the regional hub for vehicles delivered to 23 destinations in Central America and the Caribbean. Through German Ship Repair Services Jamaica, the island also offers wet dock repair services and plans full ship repairs with a floating dry dock. Jamaica's commitment to a greener maritime environment guides its fuel diversification with the use of clean fuels, including natural gas. The prevention of maritime pollution is also integral in policy initiatives. As part of this thrust, Jamaica is now acceded to the Ballast Water Management Convention 2004 and is also the lead partnering country in the IMO's Global Ballast Partnerships Program. Bunkering is another key element of Jamaica's position as a major shipping center. We supply bunkers not only for vessels calling at Jamaican ports, including cruise ships, but also for those transiting across the wider Caribbean. Falmouth, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio and Kingston, 5 cruise shipping ports, with the Falmouth Pier being purpose-built for the largest cruise ships in the world. These major cruise ports offer a full range of cruise passenger facilities and services. Awarded the world's leading cruise destination, Jamaica's unique attractions, diverse tourism and numerous recreational and cultural activities are equal sources of attraction for the creme de la creme of the seas, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship, and other major cruise lines. The seas sends them out. Seafarers and shipping staff trained in Jamaica for international service are key to Jamaica's success as a maritime state. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, is the sole IMO-recognized maritime training institution in the English-speaking Caribbean for the training of officers. The CMU is now poised to satisfy the region's demands in the expanding maritime and logistics sectors with the opening of 5 satellite campuses. Through partnership with the Technical Cooperation Division of the IMO, Jamaica helps countries in the region meet their obligations under the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. Jamaica has also chaired for 10 years at the IMO, the organ responsible for the international rules for standards of training for seafarers. Jamaica is committed to reducing substandard shipping in the Caribbean. To meet this objective, the island has hosted the Secretariat of the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control, CMOU, since 2004. In addition, Jamaica is host to the International Seabed Authority. 25 states now have permanent missions to support the regulation and control of all mineral-related activities of the authority. Partnering with the IMO Program of Integration for Women in the Maritime Sector, Jamaica has helped to mobilize maritime women in the region and strengthened their contribution to the safety, security, and environmental protection of the maritime industry. Jamaica has also hosted the inaugural Regional Women in Maritime Association WEMAC conference. Its executive is led by a cohort of strong female leaders, including its first president, a Jamaican. The seas carry them through. Jamaica's long-standing advantages, highly developed shipping expertise, and a skilled and educated workforce has seen our maritime sector blossom into an invaluable resource for the Caribbean and the region. A maritime state, a maritime home, bridging the IMO with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Let's get together and feel alright.
As we celebrate International Day of Sign Languages, we highlight deaf children and their need to communicate with us. Take a look.
Some things we may say.
No. Thank you. Goodbye. Excuse me.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Wanna play? What's up? Stop. What's a Wi-Fi password?
Come. Wait. Where's the bathroom? What's your name?
Drink. Water. What's the name of your school? Where's the town?
Taxi, bus park, shop.
How to get a deaf person's attention. Don't shout at me. Don't throw anything at me. That's dangerous. You can walk beside me and touch me on my shoulder lightly, or you can wave at me. If I'm in a room, you can flicker the lights.
Maintain eye contact. Ensure you're looking directly at the person you're speaking with. Try not to let your eyes wander. Also, it's best to communicate in a room that has good lighting. If it's too dark, communication will be difficult.
Please, make sure you don't have anything in your hands when you're talking to me.
If you cannot sign, you can write, draw, show a picture, or text.
Another way you can communicate with me is by using gestures. You can use your body and your hands to speak. For example, if you don't know the sign for bus, you could use this sign. If you don't know the sign for stop, you could use this gesture.
Now that you've gotten some quick tips on how to communicate with the deaf, be inspired by deaf teacher and advocate Anthony Aiken.
mother had German measles, rubella, and either I could have had a physical disability, be blind, but I became deaf, and I'm happy with it. I'm perfect with it. My mother, she was really concerned. She didn't know where to put me. St. Christopher's School for the Deaf was too far. It was in Brownstone. So my mother held me at home till I was about 6 years old, and I found Danny Williams School for the Deaf. I was placed there at 6 and continued from there. The first time I signed, or the first time I witnessed sign language, was 6. Before that, it was lip reading and gestures. The children would sign, but the teachers didn't sign. But I was good at lip reading, but the education aspect of it, learning, that wasn't a part of it. We were focusing on being able to speak and being with speech therapists, and that's why hence not having the great education I should. I was working at Jamaica Flour Mills. It was a good job, but communication was always a challenge. Sometimes there are a lot of misunderstandings. So I decided to resign. I didn't work for 1 year, and then I had my son after that year. And then JD called me, Jamaica Association for the Deaf. It wasn't my goal to be a mentor, but it has truly been beneficial because the children need that. They need role models, they need mentors. I encourage the deaf children to have deaf pride, to know that they can. You're on the same level as a hearing person. It doesn't matter that you can't hear. You have a lot of deaf adults who are successful, and you can achieve. You can get the education that you want, you can do anything that you want, you can achieve. Don't feel like you can't because you're deaf. The same hearing people who are teasing you and saying you're dumb and all these things, don't focus on that, focus on yourself and focus on improving yourself. With the sign language, everyone is included. That's my philosophy. So that means hearing people have to learn how to sign so that they can respect the deaf community, and the deaf person himself or herself will feel pride. Because when I think back on when I was growing up, how I was forced to lip read and forced to talk, I'm happy to see now that sign language is there and everybody is using it, and that's my philosophy.
I said be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Sexual abuse is always a very difficult thing to confront, particularly when the alleged victim is a child. Parents, if it is that you suspect that your child has been sexually abused, or is in a vulnerable set of circumstances where an abuse may occur, we encourage you to have dialogue with your child. Take the child to the pediatrician who normally attends to the child. If there is no such pediatrician, take your child to the clinic, to the hospital, to some medical practitioner who can do an assessment for you. It's very important as well that we don't just look at the physical side, but we also seek to find the kind of psychosocial support that a child may need. Does the child need a session with a counselor? Does the child need to speak with a pastor who is used to dealing with these issues? Does the child need to get that ongoing psychological support to assist with the healing process and also to assist the child in becoming strong enough, as it were, to deal with the various processes that will follow once it is that you suspect an abuse has occurred? If it is that the child actually discloses when you engage the child in discussion that yes, mommy and daddy, I was abused, we encourage you to entertain the child, to listen to what the child has to say to you, and to take it very seriously. So we really urge you to have those discussions and to seek guidance in terms of, do I speak to the police about this, which we always say you have to. Because once a child has been sexually abused, it's a criminal matter, and it means that once at all possible, the child should be assisted to go through the processes so that the perpetrator can in fact be held accountable. Support your child and let them understand in very clear terms that they are not the cause or the reason for this abuse having been perpetrated. But the most important element is to support them, get them access to the services that they need, and give them a chance to have you give them that listening ear. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm. Thank you.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to me, sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
And that's all the time we have here on this station. Catch us round about the same time tomorrow. We are available online at your leisure. There's our website, our pages on all the major social media sites, our YouTube channel, and our mobile app that's smartphone compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Explore, engage, elevate. The Jamaica Stock Exchange is showcasing its online program here at its eCampus Open House and Corporate Mingle. Hi, I'm Javon Keys, and Business Access TV is here to bring you all the happenings. Stay tuned. The first segment of our program is the Open House, where the Jamaica Stock Exchange will be introducing its postgraduate certification programs offered through its eCampus. Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest will bring greetings.
I want to thank you for coming this evening to the JCE Campus's Open House. And, you know, when I was thinking about what I would say to you this evening, I said, you know, the fact that you come and, you know, it's immediately after August, which is the break, and I know you have a lot to do at the office, and also with the back to school. I am very pleased to see you all. You have given us this evening pleasure in coming here. The intention this evening is to introduce to you the JC's exciting eCampus and the programs that we currently offer. And I'm smiling because I remember in 2012, at our launch, we said, and the program that we currently offer. And I am just excited about the fact that now we can say the programs, right, Dr. Lawrence, that we currently offer. And we feel that it is appropriate to share with you not only the number of programs we offer, but the level of certification that bolster our offerings. Because it is one thing to offer programs upon programs, but how does it enhance what you do? What can you do after you say, I've completed that program? There must be something to bolster it. And these include the accreditation by the University Council of Jamaica of our flagship program, the Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Services Management, our continuing professional development certification, which provides the stamp of approval from the CPD certification services in London that all our programs conform to continuing professional development principles, and also the approval from the Financial Services Commission of our online securities courses. The eCampus objectives are designed to match the objectives of the participants to our courses, which are to increase in the knowledge base of persons within the financial industry and the general marketplace. So we want to ensure that you know that while we operate within the financial industry, financial matters affect all companies. Am I correct, Dr. Lawrence? All companies. So it is a broad scope we are talking about. The ability also to practically utilize the training at the workplace and in the participants' daily life, and see to convert the training into a tangible currency. That is upward mobility in the organization. As the best performing exchange in the world, and you know, I would have to say that, right? For 2015, 2018, and we are second at this point to date in terms of what Bloomberg has said. But 2 weeks ago, we were number one. So we are watching this to see what will happen. And I want you to watch it with me so that we know where we are for the end of the year. But it is no secret that we have a very clear vision on what the standard in training in the financial services sector and its employees should be. So you would be coming to the right place. We understand that daily the rules of the game changes in the financial sector, as well as other sectors of commerce. And the risk in the market are greater now due to new and sophisticated products. You know, we're looking at bitcoins, and we are looking at other asset class, we would say. And, you know, as a result of that, the Jamaica Stock Exchange will be there to guide the market through these various sophisticated products. So, you know, there can be only one place to look. Our programs take these variables of this sophistication and all of that global changes in mind. And so there are several hundred persons working in the financial sector that will benefit from getting on board. We're hoping today to shed more light on the programs we offer, the matter of admission, the persons are here, or flexible payment plan, and the importance of the campus in general, and why we wish to engage you in having the campus as central to your thought. Whether as an individual or as a company or as HR, the campus must be central to your thoughts. Again, welcome.
On behalf of the JC Group and the eCampus, I would like to extend to you all a warm welcome and thanks for taking your time to be a part of this very informative event. I'm very pleased to be a part of the technical group which handles all technical matters relating to the eCampus. Our main objectives and goals and responsibilities are to provide training for our faculty members and our staff, as well as the eCampus administrative unit and our other stakeholders, such as our students and the general public at large. I will be demoing our relevant technologies that we use in our day-to-day operations, as well as I'll be, giving you some brief system requirements of the systems that we use. Our website is based on Moodle, which is basically the benchmark for all universities and tertiary institutions worldwide. Basically, every tertiary institution uses Moodle to develop their website in order to provide that hub, that platform, that community, which all our facilitators, our participants, technical administrators, and the administrative staff of the eCampus can interact.
eCampus was designed to engage the learner. I will briefly introduce you to some of its features and activities, beginning with the homepage. There is always something happening on eCampus and in the financial world, and eCampus Happenings is where you get the latest headlines. To your right, you will see a message notification box that shows messages sent to you from other students, your teachers, or administration. You will also notice a calendar that shows events for the current month. We'll talk more about calendar later. Let's move into one of my courses. To your left and to your right, you will notice several boxes that show you the latest news, all the course activities, upcoming course events, and others. You will notice that the course has an introduction. This section gives you all the information you need to know on the course. This section will also be updated to provide you with the latest information of most importance to the course material. You will also notice that the course has a general chat room and a general forum, two great ways of communicating with your peers. The forum lets you view topics created by teachers and other students. You can also create your own topics and comment on open ones. This is a great way to post general questions to your class members. The chat room allows you to have live chat sessions with class members who are currently online. Your teacher may sometimes use this as an open session to answer general queries. Let's now look at assignments. Assignments are given with clear instructions and may sometimes require you to submit a file. A file can be in PDF, Word, Excel. It all depends on what the teacher instructs you to do. And for the real deal, the course content. Content is delivered in video and audio. It lets you pause, skip, go back, and continue from wherever you left off the last time. The beauty about this experience is, if you didn't get the lecture the first time around, you can always go back and watch it again for as long as it's available. And let's look at the quiz. You get instant feedback as you answer each question, and your grade is known immediately at the end of each quiz. Didn't do so well? Don't worry. You get 3 attempts, but keep this in mind. The final grade will be the average of all 3 attempts. This is an online course, but you still get to see and talk with your lecturer. Each course has at least one web meeting session with your lecturer. In this session, the lecturer can share his screen with you as you work through a problem. He may also give you the floor so that you may be seen as you speak to the rest of the class. This is all for now. Thank you and enjoy your eCampus learning experience.
The next video I'll be presenting is our web platform. We use a technology called Zoom webinars. I'm sure most of us might have been previously exposed or we have heard of Zoom before. It is a very interactive, collaborative tool that's very easy to use.
Expand your reach and build relevance with your target audience using Zoom video webinars. Zoom's flexible registration controls allow you to gather valuable information. Designate your interactive video panelists that can present and screen share with up to 10,000 attendees and to an unlimited audience with Facebook Live or YouTube streaming. The host can promote any viewer to an interactive panelist at any time. Live Q&A and chat allow you and your panelists to answer attendee questions on the fly. Registration, Q&A, and polling are all linked to detailed reporting. Zoom's powerful integrations help you get more out of your webinars. Monetize your content with our PayPal integration and simplify follow-up with our CRM integrations. Let your webinar live on after the live event by enabling our on-demand feature, allowing you to capture new registrants long after the webinar's end. Webinars are perfect for town hall meetings, large-scale trainings, product announcements, marketing lead generation, and more. Reach a broader audience and grow your impact with Zoom video webinars.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
I never thought I'd hear the day when blackberries are archaic. It just goes to show that we have to keep up with the times, and the product that the JSC eCampus has, this online professional development platform, is keeping up with the times. People want what they want, when they want it on time, and they want it delivered in a convenient manner. Gone are the days when you're going to be expecting people to come after you have completed or you're in your workspace to come to a 2-year, you don't have the time, and no workplace can manage anything like that. So I'm here to give you an overview of what I term a marquee product of the eCampus. The product I want to give you an overview of, and I won't be very long, is called a Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Services Management. Long acronym there. The Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Services Management is an occupational graduate program. It is higher than a bachelor's degree and everything else, associates, so on. It is a graduate program. So it is a postgraduate qualification, and it is an occupational qualification. You'll hear a little bit more in a couple of slides what I mean, or the distinction between occupational versus academic. It offers industry participants opportunities for critical exploration of the regulatory framework, governance issues, financial products, and services in an academic climate of high intellectual rigor. And a part of why this program was developed was because of a recognition that someone may come to the financial sector with an MBA or a bachelor's degree from a recognized institution abroad. But the actual workings, the mechanism of how the financial sector works locally is not treated. And so there was a need for persons to get up to speed to be able to deliver products and services in a much more efficient way. And hence the concept here. But I must also say before I move to the next slide that the concept was a visionary one from Mrs. Merlin Street Forest. I mean, I'm sure she's accustomed to that term being associated with her name now. Matter of fact, you can probably say Merlin Visionary Forrest, because it was out of her idea, really, that this need was being filled. It is 15 months in length, and this, by the way, compares very well with similar occupational postgraduate degrees in the world. Now, what is a professional degree? Remember I said I'd tell you what the distinction between a professional and an academic degree. And I put it in bold there, partly. Well, first of all, let's go from the first bullet. It helps students to prepare for careers in their specific fields. So you have professional degrees in law, in pharmacy, in medicine, education. The length of the programs can vary, but span anywhere from 1 to 5 years. So 15 months is pretty optimal, as you can see. But important there, professional degrees are designed to directly prepare students for a particular career, hence the term professional or occupational degree. All right? And I just gave a list of a couple of them that exist. And part of the reason why I use Juris Doctor and Doctor of Medicine is because all of a sudden when you hear about doctorates in these areas, you see prestige. So I'm making you understand that the postgraduate diploma in financial services management has pedigree. Now, what is an academic degree? An academic degree, the emphasis typically is about research. And I like to break it down for my students when they first enter in a class that I teach about research. Research is really about learning first. And it is that you are the lead learner in the field. And you're creating new knowledge. It's not about working with what you have. It's about creating new knowledge. And typically it's very heady and academic and published in journals and so on. So there's a clear distinction between an occupational or professional degree as opposed to an academic degree. So I looked at 5 reputable institutions in the Commonwealth. I chose the Commonwealth. The United States of America tends to have all kind of variants, but I wanted a system that we could compare to ours. So I looked at the UK and Canada, and I'm sure you recognize a number of these institutions here. There's the Seneca College of Applied Arts and Technology in Canada, Oxford University, the #1 university in the world, bar none, University of Salford, Manchester, London School of Business and Finance, and the famous London School of Economics, and Douglas College. Douglas College is Canada, Seneca College, Canada, the rest obviously in the UK. They have those products there. And you can see the terms are very, very similar to the one that we have. The overall offerings are also very similar, okay? And look at the costing. You can't beat what we sell here. The role and function of the Jamaica Stock Exchange is very similar to the role and function of the UCJ, University Council of Jamaica. What both institutions have in common is that they tell potential stakeholders that you can trust this organization. So you are listed on the stock exchange, these people can be trusted. They won't be fly by night and take your money and disappear. And you know what I mean. The UCJ is telling us the same thing. In essentially, in an educational organization, you don't want to go and invest your time or your money in a fly-by-night organization. There's much more to it. But I'm saying to you what UCJ says, you can trust this product. Now, it's important to note that whereas for the diploma, the postgraduate diploma, you need to do 14 courses, you may take any one course by itself. So you can decide, oh, you know, I want to know a little bit more about risk management. There's a course for that. I want to know about corporate governance. There's a course. So say I want to just do a course by itself, you can do that, as opposed to taking on all 14. There's no comparable program available at any of these institutions to compare with the $250,000 or so that it is being offered for here in Jamaica at the eCampus. Now, I did the benchmarking of the product itself, but I want to put also the context of the eCampus in this one slide. This is the London Stock Exchange, and I'm sure Mrs. Forrest knows, and those of us that have had the opportunity to take a look at the landscape that London Stock Exchange has what they call an academy. They do not leave professional development of the financial sector up to chance. And what they use is the term bespoke. They are prepared to create bespoke professional development training opportunities for anybody, anywhere in the world. So if you want a course in Jamaica, they can make it for you, but we don't want you to do that. That is our site, and you can see down the bottom there, new and exciting upcoming workshops. That's the bespoke side of the eCampus. Entry requirements are listed here. And by the way, the third requirement there, speaking about material postgraduate diploma applicants. In other words, we're looking at industry experience. This isn't a willy-nilly thing. It is a part of how educational institutions have evolved, a part of how we now matriculate persons. Think of somebody who is a virtuoso at the guitar. They have never read a note in their life, but they can play it better than, drop something they can do. We say, okay, we won't invalidate that you can't read notes. Come and handle whatever action or activity in terms of playing a song or playing what you have done. And we can evaluate that and determine for what amount of credits or how that can be used to matriculate you into the system. So you may have entered the financial sector without necessarily, many people have soared to the top without beginning initially with any formal training. So we're not invalidating that. That's a reality. That's the way of the world. That's how every institution now operates. So that's what that mature applicants pertains to. So we say we will take industry experience as well as part of what can be used to matriculate you into the program. But first degree, JSC Securities course, or any other FSC approved first level course, at least 3 years relevant experience within the financial services sector or a related field. So what we're saying is that this program is for you. Wherever you sit, this program is for you. If you're serious about advancement in your career. I don't know how many have recognized this gentleman. He was the former head of HEART NTA. And now that's a national body, and now he's the head of the Caribbean Examinations Council, CSEC. So he has moved from head of a national organization to now the head of a regional organization. He has a PhD in industrial engineering. He said this, he came and did the program. And at the graduating ceremony, he described it as by far one of my most consequential studies when he came and did the program here. And as a part of what this program is about, ultimately the persons that leave are the brand ambassadors. And he was so pleased that he was prepared to say this about not comparing his industrial engineering degree from University in Florida and the list of other qualifications he had. He felt that this was one of his most, because it helped him, according to him when we spoke to him, to function in his role as the CEO of his organization. Because he said he would sit down sometimes in meetings prior to this and hear about them talking about the budget, and he couldn't understand what was going on. But subsequent to the program, he was able now to plot the institution's financial development, which is quite a big deal for us. So we're very proud of him, one of our graduates, Dr. Wayne Wesley. So I call it a marquee product. As a scientist, I try not to use words idly. I'm very serious about it.
When we return, you'll hear from our guest speaker. Who is it? You'll find out when we come back. Stay with us.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Tonight's speaker, she said I shouldn't call her a guest speaker. So tonight's speaker is a friend of the eCampus. Not only is she known for her 25 plus years experience in the field of risk and compliance, she is also a known attorney at law, a senior manager, and company secretary at KPMG. She is known for her down-to-earth, bubbly, and refreshing personality. However, tonight, she's not here in her capacity as senior manager. She is here to speak to us about the postgraduate certificate in Chartered Secretary and the ICASA course that the eCampus offers. Our speaker is the head of the Jamaica branch of the ICASA and will be sharing with us the benefits of enrolling in a course such as this. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mrs. Elizabeth Henry Pottinger.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be here because I believe that the ICSA qualification is one of the ones that the JSE campus has snagged, and I am sure that at the end of this presentation this evening, many persons will be signing up to become qualified as a chartered secretary. This qualification is over 100 years old. It's headquartered in England, and many Jamaican persons used to travel all the way to England or self-study to learn to be a qualified company secretary. But now, the ICASA is being brought right here on your eCampus, right at your fingertips, as I heard someone said earlier this evening. I have my colleague, Jean Douglas, who is a chartered secretary as well, and she has been practicing a few years before me, and she knows the in and outs of being a chartered secretary. So why qualify with the ICSA? I like to say that it brings you right into the boardroom, and it brings you to the seat of decision making. And this is where the skills are mainly practiced but it is multidisciplinary. You can be an accountant, you can be a company secretary, you can do risk management. Our qualification will help you to build the skills that will equip you for a career in a variety of sectors and organizations. So we offer a standalone qualifications which cover financial services, and this includes investments and fund management, legal and regulatory requirements, which is my focus, understanding of corporate strategy and structures, the skill to support and advise and enable directors and the board to make the right decisions. So you see that it places you right at the seat of decision making. Here we go. So why is this qualification? Why is this, and what are some of the benefits? You get a chartered status, which is the benchmark for company secretaries and governance professionals. It shows you have the knowledge, the skills and experience to take on a job with significant and wide-ranging responsibilities. It gives you access to thought leadership, research, and our highly respected guidance notes. You get free access to our technical helpline, and the qualification is transferable across major countries. So if you're a chartered secretary in Jamaica, you move to England or Australia or Canada, you can use the same qualifications at the same level. You do not lose your ranking. And the membership is transferable to any ICSA division as long as you're a resident in that division. So this is the stepping stone for your qualification. And pay attention to this particular slide, because different persons will fit in at different steps. You have the foundation, the part 1, and the part 2 qualifications. So the foundation program entry, if you hold a degree or a higher national diploma in either law, accounting, business studies, or business management, then you'll be required to sit and pass the foundation level, which is what we just showed you. The foundation level is the one in red, down the bottom there. So part 1 entry, if you hold any of the following qualifications, you may be eligible to start at part 1. So the HND in law or accounting, HND or degree in business studies or business management, ICSA Level 5 Diploma in Offshore Finance and Admin, Level 5 Diploma in Finance and Administration, or an unrelated degree, and have 5 years or more experience in a company secretarial or governance professional role. So the related degree, entry law. These are law graduates holding an approved UK degree in law, and you'll start at part 1 and will be eligible for exemption from the company law module. So if I go back to that presentation, there's a company law. If you have a law degree, you will be exempt from writing the company law section of part 1, but you would skip the foundation level. So if you have a related degree entry in finance, and the graduates holding an approved UK degree in finance will start at part 1 and will be eligible for exemption from the interpretation of financial accounting module. If you have an MBA entry, they will have to review what your MBA was in and give you the relevant exemptions that are applicable. So for the professional entry, law, lawyers with fewer than 5 years professional experience will start at part 1 and will be eligible for an exemption from the company law module. They may, subject to previous knowledge, qualification, and experience, also be eligible for an exemption from the development of strategy mode. You must be a member of the bar, and the Jamaican bar is acceptable to the ICSA qualification. Professional entry in accounting. Accountants with fewer than 5 years professional experience will start at part 1 and will be eligible for an exemption from the interpretation of financial accounting information module. They may, subject to previous knowledge, qualification, or experience, also be eligible for an exemption in the development of strategy mode. The fees, I think it's comparable to what we have heard earlier. The fees, the program says that you have a registration fee of £77. There's a subscription of £135. To be exempted, though, you have to pay £157 per module. And the exam fee is also £157 per module. And there's a study text per module. And note that the annual subscription fee is payable to maintain your student membership. So it means that in order to even do those two papers, the case study and the other paper, you must register as a student of the Institute of Chartered Secretary. The ways to study: tuition provider, which the eCampus is a registered tuition provider, and you will be taken through your paces through the through this eCampus. I don't want to say too much about the other study. You can self-study as well, but I have found that most people who self-study, they have a great difficulty in passing the exam. So I would encourage you to sign up with the eCampus and take advantage of all of the help that you can get. This is a worthwhile qualification, I can tell you. And we have some postgraduate partners, and I think the eCampus, I'm not sure that you're a postgraduate partner as yet, but you are a provider of the services. We have a link that you can find the full list of postgraduate courses and providers. And here are some facts I provided for you. Students must register with both the university and the ICSA prior to completing the course. And your fees vary from that of ICSA, the fees that you pay to the eCampus, and your membership fees are payable directly to the institute. So for the foundation program, which is the red box that we skipped over earlier, there are 4 papers here. Introduction to the business environment, Introduction to Finance and Accounting, and I can tell you that that is not really an introductory course. It is much deeper than an introductory course. Principles of Company Compliance and Administration and Introduction to Law. What does it involve? This is the foundation course, 15 to 200 learning hours that develop your understanding of the fundamentals, including Introduction to the Business Environment, Finance, Law, Compliance, and Admin. There's a one closed book 3-hour exam, and it covers all of the 4 modules. It leads to the foundation program certificate at level 4 and the right to continue to study for the qualifying program. So remember that there are 3 levels: the foundation, part 1 and part 2. Some people might be exempted from the foundation in its entirety. Some will be exempted from parts of part 1. Some will be exempted from all of part 1. And some will be exempted from part of the part 2, depending on your years of experience and your qualification.
The presentations may be over, but the event isn't quite done. Now let's go mingle.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Hi, my name is Diane Plummer, and I'm the Managing Director for Your True Shade. So the program that I participated in was Creating Wealth, and it would give viewers an idea of the different processes in Your True Shade, taking the products from the raw materials to the production and then finally to the consumer. Being on Business Access TV has definitely impacted my business because since the feature was aired, I got a lot of calls asking about the products, where they can get products, and asking additional information as well. Another thing that I did was to actually link the video to my social media posts so that persons can actually learn more about the brand. So for persons considering BATV, I would definitely recommend it because you will definitely see the payoff for it. Persons will definitely be interested in finding out more about you as well as your brand.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
So, Mrs. Street Forest, the eCampus was launched in 2012 and it's a number of years now. What's the traction been like and what can we expect going forward from this regime introduced by the JSC?
We have been successful in having many students from all different industries partake of the programs that we have. The flagship program, which is the postgraduate diploma in financial services management, and all the other workshops, the attending workshops that talk about products and services within the financial sector and otherwise. Our uptick has been very good. You know, we have had the accreditation from UCJ. We also have approval from the Financial Services Commission and the CPD certification. And these bolster just what people get from the program, hands-on and also qualification to take them to the next level. And you know, we are looking at areas such as blockchain technology, digital asset management, digitization of your organization. These are some things that are critical to the success of organizations, and whatever comes within the environment that will lead to a better and more sustainable financial sector, we are there. So these are the programs that we continue to offer, and anything that evolves, we offer those as well.
So Dr. Benjamin, talk to us about the accreditation for the courses. Now many persons may be concerned, yes, they hear about the courses being offered, but generally a concern is there about accreditation. Are these courses accredited?
Yes, very good question. I want to first of all give us a sense of what accreditation means. In my earlier presentation, I pointed out that at the center of accreditation is a matter of public trust. And persons can think about it as you would think about being listed on the stock exchange, for example. What that means is that possible persons who want to invest know that the money is not going to disappear when they invest it. Academic accreditation is relatively similar. The University Council of Jamaica provides a platform and relevant processes and procedures that when a company or when an institution, when a program has been accredited by the University Council of Jamaica, what they're saying is that potential stakeholders, students who might come on board, financiers, matter of fact, you can't get a student loan if you're not going to be going in an accredited program. So you're saying to the person that, look, this is a program that is trustworthy. It is going to add value. It is the kind of program that will be recognized wherever in the world that you go. And so the JSE campus postgraduate diploma in financial...
Well, does it tie in, or how different is it from any other postgraduate degree, let's say, offered by any other institution? Why is it that I should choose doing this program over any other?
Absolutely. No, the program is offered by the Jamaica Stock Exchange eCampus. One of the key mandates of the eCampus from its parent body was to ensure that the providers of financial services in the landscape are well equipped to provide advice, to provide innovative services and products to the market. And in order for this to happen, they have to have a firm understanding of the governance structures of the banking industry, financial services industry, understand international best practices, of course, local best practices, and so on. And we ensure that all our graduates, when they leave the program, through having done the 14 courses, there are about 17 outcomes we have put there. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. But among them are the essentials to be able to advise and to develop and implement products, both financial products, as well as to provide advice to potential clients as to how to invest their own money. Yes.
So you're saying, of course, by all means, it's the best program to choose to do.
It is the best program because it is customized for the Jamaican context. And even if somebody has another degree, they would probably be studying a lot of theories, and it's not that we don't do theory work in the postgraduate diploma in financial services management, but that we are looking at it more as an occupational and an applied degree, so that it is more practical, it's more hands-on, it's more oriented towards being able to respond to the needs of the Jamaican local context.
So, Mr. Parks, the Jamaica Stock Exchange's eCampus has a wide range of courses offered. Tell us a bit about these programs.
Sure. Well, our flagship program is our postgraduate diploma in financial services management. We have a suite of other postgraduate certificates that are offered, including we have the compliance and information governance, we have the financial planning and wealth management, we have the brokerage operations, and many others that are specialized to the different sector. So because we cater to the financial services sector, we have persons who need more enhanced training for security brokers, banking, insurance, and any other entity that offers financial services in general. But we also offer a suite of workshops that are specifically designed to enhance the learning outcomes, to ensure that persons can become a more enhanced desk-ready operant. That is, we highlight gaps that might be there in the marketplace in terms of from an HR perspective, and also persons who are interested in upgrading their skill, because we are CPD certified, which is a continued professional development certification that comes through London, England, and we ensure that everything that we offer are at the highest level to enable all of our participants to be desk-ready operant, or to be a desk-ready operant, and bring an immediacy in terms of the know-how right to their desk for the benefit of the organizations as a whole.
Now, I know your focus is on strengthening persons in the financial sector, but are there any plans to also offer courses for persons who may not necessarily have a degree now, but may be interested in learning about becoming financially savvy and strengthening their wherewithal as it relates to financial education?
Well, sure. We offer the Jamaica Online Securities course, which is a minimum entry-level requirement for persons who require the basic knowledge. So we cater to varying personnel from that perspective. So persons who require to be licensed by the Financial Services Commission. The Jamaica Online Securities course that we offer is the minimum qualification that the FSC would assess in order to license you to give professional advice. We have persons who gravitate to that program, not necessarily because they want to give advice, but they want to have a better understanding in order to navigate the financial markets as a whole, to ensure that their whole financial health can be enhanced.
So you've basically gotten the best of both worlds, a platform where information is shared and another where it's discussed. I'm Javon Keys. I've been your host, and thanks to you for staying tuned to the Jamaica Stock Exchange's eCampus Open House and Corporate Mingle. And thanks to the Jamaica Stock Exchange for having such an event where they're showcasing the offerings of their eCampus. Thanks for staying with us. Pleasant viewing.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place.
when we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
My name is Dennis O'Brien, Chairman of Digicel. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Hello, my name is Blake, and with my wife Tishai, a year and a half ago, we established Def Can Coffee. We are a not-for-profit social enterprise aimed at engaging, equipping, and empowering deaf youth. So Def Can Coffee started by just taking our students on a field trip to meet Clark, who is a deaf coffee farmer from St. Elizabeth. And Clark, if you meet him, you'll never forget him because he's a character. And he is 78 years old, has grown and roasted coffee on a little farm in St. Elizabeth his whole life. As a family friend of my wife's who grew up around Clark, we decided, hey, let's take our kids to Clark's farm in St. Elizabeth, let them meet him, and just see if they wanted to learn more about coffee. Because at that time, we just wanted to expose our kids to a role model of somebody who's doing something as a deaf person. Well, the kids got so excited about coffee, they came back to Kingston and said, hey, can we roast coffee like Clark? We said, hey, we can try that. And so we got this little tabletop roaster that roasts a half pound of coffee at a time. We got some green coffee from Clark, and we started roasting. And pretty soon the boys say, well, can we taste this coffee too? We say, sure. So we got a Mr. Coffee machine that was collecting dust on the shelf, cleaned it up, and they started brewing coffee. And then people would come by and they'd say, hey, you want to taste our coffee? People would say, yeah. So they taste it and be like, wow, this is really good. It's like, yeah, it's fresh roasted coffee. It's got to be good. And then people say, well, can we pay you for this cup of coffee? And we say, okay. And it just really organically grew because the boys were doing everything as a group. As they started selling coffee to customers, their smiles got a little bit bigger, they started getting pride, and they felt affirmed. They had positive attitudes about themselves. About a year ago in March, we decided actually to not just roast coffee, but to start a small coffee shop here at the school campus. After 3 months of running it here at the school, we said, this has potential to actually employ people. This has potential to go beyond just the walls of this campus. And so in July of last year, we actually registered Def Can Coffee as a business name and started the formal process of developing ourselves as a legal entity. The name Def Can Coffee, when I look back on it, I just have to say, God knew what we needed. We never really had a lot of discussion. We never did a whole lot of thinking about what the name was going to be. So we just talked to the boys group, the boys Bible study group that this all started from. We said, what do you guys want the world to know? What is your message that's going to be the core of your being moving forward? And they said, we want people to know that we can. And we just kind of wrote out on the board, Def Can Coffee. It wasn't until a few months later that we actually registered the name when we felt like, yeah, this is the right thing to move forward with. But it just kind of happened because the boys, that's the message that they want to share with the world, is that they can do anything. And so Def Can Coffee was the resulting name. When we started, we had no idea that we were going to have a business. It started as just like a kind of a project to get the kids a little bit more excited and to have more confidence. We started with just roasting coffee, and so we were bagging it and selling it. And then from there, we started doing espresso-based drinks and lattes, cappuccinos. And then some people said, well, you know, it's already hot here. Some people are going to want cold drinks. We said, yeah, absolutely. So the boys saved up their own money and bought a blender and started doing frappuccinos. And then somebody said, well, let's blend up some fruit. So they started doing fruit smoothies. And then somebody said, well, we want to do a milkshake. So they started making milkshakes. They're working now on kind of a roots drink using vegetables and fruits and blending those up to make a really healthy drink. This is Nitro cold coffee. What we have is a keg, and inside of it is cold brew coffee. I think we're the only people in Jamaica that are doing Nitro cold brew coffee, which is cold brew coffee put into a keg, pressurized with nitrogen, and then the nitrogen gas infuses with the coffee, and it's served on tap. So we compare it to Guinness and tell people we have Guinness coffee. Tastes like creamers in the coffee. It's delicious. This is entrepreneurial and business education. And so grades 9, 10, 11 students came with their own recipe, and they bottled cold coffee and added vanilla flavoring to it. So it's an energy drink that's bottled and you can just grab it and go. We do kind of anything coffee, whether it's hot or cold. Anybody could come here and get something they want. We've had multiple people who are coffee connoisseurs who have come in here and said that this is the best coffee they've ever had in Jamaica. We've also had people that come in here and say, coffee? I don't want to drink coffee. Coffee's gross, you know? And so we'll serve them something else and they'll find something that they like. So whether you're a coffee purist or whether you want something that's sweet or whether you want something that's just a fruit smoothie that's healthy, that is refreshing, helps you keep going, we have something for you. So really, I feel like we can match most demographics and most market segments. Our tagline that we operate by is engage, equip, empower. My wife, being a deaf Jamaican herself, has grown up where she has seen a lot of people try to help deaf people. And a lot of their approach to helping somebody is by giving them things. And then they would wait to see what the deaf person would do with it. And inevitably, nothing would happen. And the person would walk away saying, oh, the deaf person can't do it. So we started from a basic principle that our students have to be engaged and have to have ownership in it. And so we said, okay, we'll save up your money that you're earning from these coffee sales and buy better equipment. So they bought their first espresso machine, they bought their first grinder, and it continued to grow with their own participation. So that's engagement. Once they're engaged and have ownership and want it, but then they need the skills to be taught to them. So that's when we partnered with various coffee shops, and Sidecar Coffee from the US was our first critical partner, and they were willing to come down here and put on a 2-day intensive barista training workshop for our students, and 17 of our boys got certified as a level 1 barista. And from there, it just has continued to take off where as we need funding, they save up their own money. They have objectives and goals of what they want to save up for next. They save up, and then we go out and get it. When we built this training center, this was really because as we saw the growth that happened in the first 4 to 6 months of the small coffee shop, we said, there's so much opportunity here because the kids want to learn more. And so we reached out to Digicel Foundation here locally and said, we have this vision, this dream of having a cafe training center. And they came and did a site visit and loved what we were doing and came alongside of us. Digicel Foundation gave us a $3.5 million grant to build the space that we're in right now. We also received funding locally from Harvest Call Jamaica, which is the not-for-profit that my wife and I operate here in Jamaica that does things outside of just the deaf schools. We also work with children's homes and infirmaries and hospitals, but we also got $10,000 US grant from them to build this training center. But my wife does not want us to go looking around for a lot of donations and freebies because the kids need to have ownership of it. They need to feel involved in that it's part of their business. The business part of it where we actually go we are making a profit. Again, because we've been operating within a school setting and students, and it's basically training for them, there's not wages or salaries. We're not paying full-time workers. So we don't have some of the overhead that a traditional business would have. Or as we grow and go out into the public, we will eventually have one day. We don't really have opening public hours. We don't want just random people coming off the street and coming here because we have children and we have to make sure that our children are taken care of and that they're protected. So we can't just have really strangers coming in. But we do have people that keep hearing about us and they show up at the gate. And if we're here, we'll gladly open up and serve them. But moving forward, we'd like to have a public space where then the general public can just go there to an offsite location. One of our goals at the very beginning was to create community, because that's really one of the things that our deaf youth lack in their life is community, that they really feel a sense of belonging to. So from the very beginning, we wanted to nurture that and make sure that we protected it and make sure that the boys that this started with, that it was theirs to run. But as it grew, deaf as adults started hearing about what we were doing. And so we started getting interest from outside people saying, hey, I've heard about Deaf Can Coffee, I'm deaf, can I get involved? And so we're not actively out there seeking people, they're coming to us, and through that we're able to kind of filter through the people that really want to learn and versus the people that are just kind of discontent with life and want something easy. Because one of the key principles that the boys understand is that you have to work hard. You know, business takes hard work, and you have to be committed to it, and you have to work together as a team. Through that we've developed Carlisle and Fabian as a manager and assistant manager, where they're really the leaders moving forward, and they know who to contact if we need somebody else. We have deaf culture already in existence, which has its own set of norms and values, and we incorporate those fully into the business. And so things have to be visually friendly, things have to be spatial. In our training center here, everything's open. And so there's not a way, so we can have a group of kids that are in a circle or a semicircle where everything is visual. Everyone can see everybody and they can communicate clearly. So everything we do is kind of in a semicircle and open. And that's a cultural value from deaf culture. But then within the business culture, we're creating very much an emphasis on interdependence. First, we're very dependent on others. As a child growing up, we're very dependent. As we get into being teen years, we want to be very independent. We don't want anybody to tell us to do anything. As you become an adult, you realize you have to be both. You have to be dependent and independent, and that's interdependence. Don't you just focus on an area that you're really good at and try to become the best. Try to raise up the level of your peers too. And so through that, they're working together. And that's really what we want to embody in our culture, is a body that it's all about the team. And if one person fails, then we all fail. The concept of entrepreneurialism is something that our students didn't have a real strong grasp of before we started this. But as they've grown their own business, they're starting to realize what being an entrepreneur is all about. Mostly it's about learning. And a lot of the things that they've learned the most is that you have to take risks and you have to be calculated, you can't be foolish, but you have to try something. And so we are seeing more creative thoughts coming out of them in ways that we never really anticipated. We're seeing artistic sides of our students come out when they're thinking about marketing. They're saying, okay, how can we make this more visually appealing? And so we actually had students design by hand sketch a new logo for our cold coffee bottled energy drink. So one of our deaf students drew that, and then we sent it to Justin Forbes, who's a deaf graphic artist here in Kingston, and he developed the logo more fully for them that's digital that we print today. So in a lot of different ways, entrepreneurialism is starting to affect the way that they think, and starting to realize that inside of every one of us, we have creative capabilities and ideas that just have to be tapped into.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
We believe that DEF can really go anywhere. And when you ask some of our boys, they're going to say, we're not just thinking about Jamaica, we're thinking about Def Can coffee being all over the world. And one of the reasons for that is because 90% of the coffee in the world is grown in third world and developing countries. In third world and developing countries, you're by default going to have less governmental program, less intervention, and lower education standards for deaf people. And so you can literally go into a coffee producing country where there's already going to be a disenfranchised, at-risk deaf community. And you can go in and you can get them engaged in that. And once it's a deaf person that's going in and training and teaching, deaf people by nature will just flock to it. And so the deaf community throughout the world does not share the same language, but they share the same cultural values. And so our guys could literally go to another country and walk around with a Def Can Coffee sign anywhere where there's a deaf community, and people will come and want to know more. And you can engage people through that. And once they're engaged and want it, then you can equip them with the skills necessary to run it. And once you have a person engaged and equipped, that leads to empowerment. And so our boys have dreams and visions of being beyond just Jamaica. And that's something that I absolutely believe can happen. I think there are a few things that are critical for an entrepreneur. First, you have to believe in something. If you don't believe in it, there's no way that you're going to be able to convince and convey to your customer that it's worth their time or their resources to buy your product or service. And so it has to be something that you're passionate about. You also have to have a vision of where you want to go and allow that to guide your decision making. So here for us at Def Can Coffee, our vision is to have a deaf community and deaf youth who are empowered. And so every decision we make is, do we believe that this decision will lead to our youth becoming more empowered, or will this become a distraction? Besides kind of the theoretical vision things, you have to put in a lot of hard work. You have to be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to take risks and learn. Every time you make a mistake, it's a phenomenal opportunity to learn something, and you'll never make that mistake again. Unless you don't want to view it as a learning experience, you want to be frustrated by a mistake, then you'll end up making that same mistake again. Success for us is not defined by what margin we're making, how profitable we are. We believe that if our students are getting the skills necessary and the self-esteem and confidence necessary to perform, that will all take care of itself. I think for my wife and I, our biggest fear is that somehow through a failure to guide this social enterprise properly, that we could actually end up convincing people that deaf can't. So what I mean by that is, and some of the experiences that we've learned from by making mistakes, say we have the opportunity to open up our own shop somewhere, and we say, all right, yes, let's do it, but we're not ready to do it. If we open up our own shop and have our own storefront and everything, but we're not actually to the point where we're mature enough as a business to handle that, and it fails, everybody that walked through those doors and saw it close are going to look at it and say, oh, Def can't. And so we've been very careful about how we grow the business. We've used the analogy with the students of as a child grows, they grow from an infant to a toddler to an adult. And as an infant, you learn to crawl, and as a toddler you learn to walk, and as an adult you learn to run. So we use that analogy with them and say, hey, we're still crawling, or we're still walking here, we're not quite ready to run. Because if we don't manage that properly and allow it to grow sustainably, people are gonna realize that Def can't. And that's the antithesis of what we want people to believe. We want everything we do to affirm that Def can. What motivates me is people like Clark, the man that started this, people like my wife, who are, through their lives, proving to people and demonstrating that Def can, that literally Def can do anything, and that there are some ways that Def can do things better. I get excited when somebody comes in here and says, wow, this is the best espresso I've had in Jamaica. And you see our guys, smile and stand up straight, and they're proud of themselves. That's what motivates me. Those moments where somebody comes in and says, wow, Def can. And then the response of our guys that say, yeah, we know. And as that confidence within them grows, they're starting to believe in other things they can do outside of coffee. And they're getting more confidence, and their own creative talents are starting to bubble to the surface. And we've realized that as we go and share this message, some of our boys are phenomenal with crowds. They're great with an audience. An audience will be sitting out there, and they'll be telling them a story, and their expressions that comes through their facial expression and their body language just captivates people. And realize this person could be on stage. They could do anything. And those moments where the general public gets it, where they say, wow, Def can, and those moments where our youth say, yeah, we know, that's what motivates me. I live for those moments where people just get it and they say, wow, I want some more of this. when you just can't go to sleep at night. When you're dead tired, you're completely spent, and you lay your head down, an idea pops up. And then your brain starts going again, and you just can't turn it off. So you're up at 2 in the morning, you're typing something out, or emailing somebody with something you want to tell, and just those are the moments where you're like, wish I didn't have this thing on my mind. And then you say, well, if I didn't have that, would life be as exciting as it is? And so learn to embrace those moments of inspiration, and to realize that those moments where you wish you could just turn off your brain, but it's still going, are actually some of the greatest moments to really just focus, get the clutter out of your mind, and sit and just put things on paper, get them out, and think about them. But I love the interaction that we have with different people that Def Can Coffee is attracting. Literally attracting people from all over. We've had people from all over the world that have heard about us and have come to see it. They may not be flying to Jamaica specifically for it, but they hear about it and they want to come see it while they're visiting. And then to have local Jamaicans that have come here and to realize, wow, the deaf community has a lot to offer. And so what we're hoping is that through this, other employers will come and see what the kids are doing. They'll see the commercials they're making. They'll see, the cakes they're baking and say, hey, I have a job for you. You can come work for me, because we're not really all about just trying to create this massive Def Can Coffee organization. I believe that because we are addressing a root issue in the lives of vulnerable people, that's God's heart. God's heart is for the vulnerable. He's for the oppressed. He's not about the people who think they have everything in life. And I think that as we have very carefully tried to address the true lack that's experienced in the lives of our kids, that God is blessing that, and He's growing it to allow us to fill up their cups so that our kids lack nothing anymore. They don't lack the confidence, they don't lack the skills necessary, they don't lack the opportunities in life to really grow themselves and use the gifts that He's given them.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
As we traveled around now, going through different places, the Digicel Foundation heard about us, and we showed proof to them that we could do it, that Def can. Digicel Foundation was so impressed by what they did, they gave us a grant to build the training center. And so now, as you saw over there, we have a new silver espresso machine that's really powerful. We're really happy for what we have. Our goal is to continue to grow our business. I think probably the most satisfying experience that I've had so far has actually had nothing to do with a cup of coffee. It's when I've seen my boys, our young men, stand in front of a group and professionally and powerfully explain the story of what's happened with Def Can Coffee. And when people in an audience, you see just a little bit of water get in their eyes and just a little bit trickle down because they're so touched. Because our boys are developing the confidence that their natural gifting and talent is starting to bubble out to the surface, and people are seeing that. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing somebody that really hears the message of Def Can and can believe it with all their heart. Some of my favorite things to do are to get out of Kingston and go to St. Elizabeth. Where my wife is from is an area called Top Hill, St. Elizabeth, and it's the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion. And so we'd love to go out there, just hang out, love to go down to Treasure Beach and swim and hang out, enjoy the country life. Being an entrepreneur is full of sacrifice. There are times where you sacrifice relationships, but you have to balance that, because if at the end of the day you have a successful business but fail in relationships, then the business has no merit that needs to get done. You sacrifice with other things in life that you like to do, maybe hobbies that you had before. Sometimes you don't have as much. I think my dog suffers sometimes. I don't spend as much time with her as I'd like to. We have some exciting opportunities coming up. Nothing is set in stone yet, but we're very possibly going to be opening up a full-time cafe or a coffee shop inside of another cafe. It's not named yet. They haven't decided on their branding yet. It'll be on Hope Road, and it will be their own cafe where we would be the coffee service. So they would be doing food, bistro kind of stuff, and we would be providing the coffee service. So that's one opportunity. We've also had a couple other organizations that have reached out to us and said, hey, we'd be interested, in maybe you running a coffee shop inside of our business at some point down the road. But nothing is set in stone. So right now we're focused internally using our new training center that we have here, thanks to the Digicel Foundation, and working with them. Also, JN Foundation has reached out to us. They have a social enterprise booster initiative called SEBI, which we're in the process of applying to become a part of it. And then they would really walk alongside of us and help us develop some of the internal mechanisms that we need to give us a foundation where the business can grow. Def Can Coffee encouraged a group of our students who are grades 9 and 11 to join Junior Achievement. It's boys and girls both together. And through that Junior Achievement program, they came up with a vanilla cold coffee energy drink that's in a bottle. And this is what it looks like. As we've grown, we've said, all right, we want to create a message about this. And so reach out to somebody that can help us. But then as much as possible, we bring that internally. So we created a message for the National Inclusive Education Conference that happened last November in Montego Bay. And we developed kind of a framework for the message, but then the students kind of decide what they wanted to portray through that poster. And that poster was all about comparing a negative view of a deaf person that says deaf can't with a positive view of a deaf person that says deaf can. And that was really powerful. We've used that one medium in a lot of different ways. As we go travel mobile, we'll put that poster up on the table and allow people to come by and read it, because just by the interaction they have with the baristas, they're not going to get the full depth of the story, but then the story's right there in print form where people can read it and understand what we're all about. But we've honestly in some ways tried to hold back on some marketing, because again, we're struggling with this balance of we're on the campus of a deaf school. We can't just have too many people coming in and ruining what we're trying to do with the kids, because that has to be the primary focus. But as we go mobile, as we go out into the public, we're working on developing different marketing tools. But our website is phenomenal, and it's developed by one of our deaf students. He's a graduate of our school. He's now studying computer science at Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, and he's a computer science major. So he developed our website for us, runs it from abroad. He's actually going to come back this summer to do an internship for us to develop some more online based tools. But we're all on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is at Def Can Coffee. And so we're pretty streamlined as far as that. When people want to know how to contact us, it's Def Can Coffee. Just Google Def Can Coffee, and our email address is defcancoffee@gmail.com. Our website's defcancoffee.com, and then all our social media is there. So online has probably been our most successful mode of marketing as far as reaching out with our message to the customers. And that was, probably a year ago when we realized this has viable potential business. That was one of our initial strategies, is go public, go to where the people are at instead of worrying about trying to attract people here. And then the second thing is partner with people. Any press is good press, and so we've had the opportunity to get several print media opportunities where they've written stories about us in the Gleaner and Observer. We've been on TVJ, we've been on several radio stations. We're now on Business Access TV, which we're really thankful and excited for this opportunity. If you're a young person or a person that has a desire to be an entrepreneur, you have an idea that you want to try, then I encourage you to go for it. But you have to understand a few things first. You have to be very committed to it, and you have to believe that what you want to do is going to make the world a better place. If you don't believe it makes the world a better place, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to sell it to your customers and to whoever you want to reach. And you have to really believe in that. And if you don't believe in it, then you're going to run out of the energy, because there are times where you feel like, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. It's too impossible. And if you don't believe it makes the world a better place, then you're going to say it's not worth it. But if you look at some of the greatest businesses the world has ever known, it started with somebody that said, I believe my idea can make this world a better place. And when you start with that premise, if you believe that, then there should be nothing that stops you. And then my other encouragement is that as you go, don't try to do it alone. Reach out to people and partner with people that can help you. If you're selfish, if you try to keep it for yourself and say, no, I want to hang on to this, you're not going to allow your hands to open up to allow it to grow and to fly. And so you have to be willing to open up yourself to other people and say, hey, I want to work with you and I want to see how we can work together. And then the third thing is that you have to get the right people around you. If you have somebody that is inside that is toxic, that's cancerous to your organization, no matter how talented they are, no matter how many gifts they have, if that person is not matching the team, if they're becoming more about themselves than the team, you have to be willing to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We can't have this part of our team. And so you have to be willing to sometimes do the tough work, and you have to be willing to say no. When opportunities come that aren't really suiting your business model or your vision, you have to be willing to say no. And as an entrepreneur, you'll have a hard time sometimes saying no, but you really have to be willing to stand firm and say no. And then the last thing I would say is have a business plan. And if you don't know what a business plan is and don't know how to write it, reach out, because there are lots of people that are willing to sit down and offer advice and help you work through some of those components that maybe you haven't thought of.
Oftentimes, we see the end product of a development, from that breathtaking beachfront property to that striking single-family home, or even that majestic townhouse or apartment. But have you ever considered the process before the product? It's another week of Home Sweet Home with me, your host, Candy. Let's take you on a journey from concept to reality of a development. Hi, here from Home Sweet Home.
Hi, Candy.
Hi, Raymond. Good to see you again.
Welcome, welcome. All right, so today we're going to go through on a little tour.
This is nice.
Your safety gears. Safety at all times.
Yes.
Essentially, this is our site plan.
Right.
This is the proper orientation of it.
Right.
So there's the pool right there. Is actually 1,300 square feet.
Wow, it's a good size. Raymond Grant is the project manager for this development. Now, Raymond, where exactly are we right now?
All right, right now we are in the Golden Triangle, 1 Gladstone Drive, Kingston 6.
Kingston
One
6.
of the most
Sought after
areas now for apartments especially.
Now, I want to get a complete understanding of the development of a development.
Sure.
So the background process, all the legal things that you probably have to go through, give us a sense of what that's like.
So this project is called Richesse Chateau. It's a French concept. Richesse meaning wealth and chateau meaning like a grand manor or a castle. So we're trying to replicate that. But before we got to that point, we had to first understand if the market could accommodate such a development, if the market has a demand based on the time period that the project would be delivered to be able to satisfy. So at the end of the project, at the very least, we would have potential purchasers who would actually purchase to make the project a reality. So the process of actually doing a development like this first starts with understanding the ability of getting a buyer who has an appreciation for the types of finishing that you're going to be putting in the market. Persons who want high quality, they tend to go for smaller complexes. So what it does is that it limits the amount of persons that are residing in that one space, because in a strata development, it's really more like a communal living. So the concept here is a communal living, but you have your own designated space. So we went about checking out, doing our research, understanding what were persons looking for. They wanted high ceilings, they wanted 10-foot ceilings, they wanted tray ceilings, they wanted recessed lighting, they wanted audio in their ceilings, they wanted speakers to project sound down, right? In addition to that, in terms of the finishing, in terms of the type of tiles. So what we did is that we went ahead and we actually imported tiles from Spain as samples and Egypt. So what we're actually bringing on the market now is something that has never been seen before. We have the ability to scope in terms of from a pool of potential purchasers what they want, and what we are able to do based on that is actually bring the purchaser into the process to determine the finishing that they want on the units. So it's essentially tailor-made. So what we do is maintain the quality. Even though we bring the buyer in, we maintain the quality of the product that we're putting out.
So you've obviously done your market research.
Right.
What would you say is the importance of location in the development?
One of the most important factors for a developer is, will the developer be able to connect into the central sewage system? The National Environment and Planning Agency, they regulate how the urban space is expanding, right? Location has necessary elements to it. You have to be able to provide a certain amount of parking. You have to be able to provide a certain amount of amenity space for your purchasers. For a developer to be able to maximize on his output, he has to try and find a location where he can get connection to a central sewer. Because if he's not able to connect to a central sewer, then he has to set aside additional space on the property to do an on-site sewage treatment, which requires a certain amount of space by the authorities. So that automatically reduces the amount of units that a developer can get. So the location and the ability to have the sewage in particular gives the developer better opportunity to get returns on his investment, right? So that is something that's very important, because for most of us as developers, we have to write to the National Environment and Planning Agency or the KCAC as well for them to guide us as to how many units we may get on a particular lot. Because in addition to that, there is a zoning plan that NEPA has. So in terms of what we call a habitable room ratio, that is a measurement done based on the acreage. So we go from as low as, in the more rural areas, we would say like 20 habitable rooms per acre. So that's the maximum amount of habitable rooms that you may get, on average 30. But as you get closer into the heart of the city, for example in New Kingston, you can get up to 150 habitable rooms per acre. So again, the location element is very important there.
Now, living in these modern times, what kind of considerations do you have to make when building these things?
You have to understand that the market is competitive. It's not a case where you're the only developer out there. You are putting out a product. That product has to compete with other products, so you have to ensure that your product is a step ahead. or that there's a minimum bar that you set, that you maintain that throughout the process. So in doing development, no terrazzo. We have to go for the exquisite tiles. And even if you are doing a lower end development that caters to persons of a lower median income, you still have a minimum that you'll go.
Right.
For example, for our units, all our units are pre-fitted with services for laundry, air conditioning, and all the essential services, the cable, the internet, and so on. Every unit has access, right, to 400 gallons of water.
Okay, wow.
Right? That's run separately for them. So if for whatever reason the National Water Commission is down for a day or two, you can get that.
So this is the modern day version of a tank?
Essentially. Okay. But the tank is not as would be traditional.
Right, that's what I mean. It's not the...
It's disguised, you would never know where it is.
Right, so it's not the big black tank we see on
you will
top
never
of the
know
roof
where
there.
it is, and I won't tell you where it is, but it is on site, right? Okay. So we have that. Separately, standby generator. Typical of a lot of developments now, you will have a standby generator, but it only accommodates the common areas, lighting for the common areas. But in terms of our development that we're doing now, you will get a standby generator that goes into your unit and gives power to your refrigerator and power to your bedroom and so on. Just to note, as a developer, if he's going 4 stories or more, there's a new regulation now by the fire department, and that developer now has to put in a fire suppression system in order to get his plan approved. So that's like a sprinkler system. So the more you go as a developer now, the regulations will basically be adjusted, and you have to be able to stay in the know as a developer with the local authorities to ensure that you are not breaching any of the regulations that they have set up.
Wow, that's really a lot of information, but I know we have more coming, right?
Absolutely.
So stay with us, there's more Home Sweet Home after the break.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home. We're still talking with Raymond Grant about his Gladstone Drive development and, of course, from concept to completion of this project. Now, you've touched on this a little in one of your previous answers, but I've always heard about the number of approvals you have to get before starting a development. Give us a little more about that.
It's a very complicated process, but for those of us who know and understand, you may see a development as an individual from the aspect of the construction. It may be a year, maybe 2 years, but prior to getting that construction started, there is a approvals process that starts from the developer acquires, prepares his drawings, submits them to the whichever respective local authority depending on the parish that he is in. If you are a developer doing 9 units or less, then you will just submit your plans directly to the KCAC and be approved from the KCAC only. If you're doing 10 units or more, when you submit to the KCAC, those plans are forwarded to the National Environment and Plan Agency. They're scrutinized more in terms of the process, because NEPA then in turn circulates these plans to a lot of other agencies, as much as 12 additional agencies, to assess sewage, to assess your parking, to assess your ingress egress for your cars coming in, different aspects. They go to the Mines and Geology Division to assess your rock formation. So there's a complete process that goes on for the approvals. And depending on what information you provided in your application, and depending on the type of design that you have, they may require additional information, additional testing, soil tests. So a lot goes into that aspect of just that aspect of the process.
We just did the construction. I
You
think
just
that
did the
it starts
construction
from
and
here,
think that's
but
it.
it's
Good.
A long time coming.
And then separately and apart from that, when you actually get an approval by the local authority, you then have to assess what was approved and assess your certificate of title to see if you need to modify any of the covenants on your certificate of title. And that process is a process that goes through the Supreme Courts. And that is a minimum of 90 days by itself. When you go through that process, provided that you get approved by the courts to make changes or modifications to accommodate development, then you would go to the real estate board to get approved by the real estate board. And for us as developers, we endeavor to get approved by the real estate board because that is the time when we can actually engage purchasers and get deposits from purchasers and so on. And those deposits are protected by the act under which the real estate board operates. So in terms of that process where you have the local authorities coming up the line, essentially making sure that everything is, how it is supposed to be, we come right up onto the point where we have our full set of approvals, and then we engage and get into the aspect of construction.
Based on how comprehensive that process is, it would seem that you need a lot of people, a lot of professionals here to assist with the development.
Right, absolutely. We start off essentially by engaging a physical planner, an urban planner, somebody who understands density, understands what we are able to get as a developer, having conducted our own market research, where sometimes we have to hire a market research firm to make that determination as to what is best for the area, what is best, what is the demand now on the market, and so on. So we have an architect that we would engage, and then we have engineers, and not just a civil engineer in terms of the design for the building, in terms of the structural integrity of the building, but we also have mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers. They're called MEPs, that do specific designs for each building, each unit, to ensure that, for example, on the electrical engineering aspect, the loads that are being generated can be handled based on the system that is designed. So, for example, our developments bring in a certain amount of standby electricity to each unit, requires us speccing a larger grade standby generator as opposed to if we were just providing common area lighting. The electrical aspect of it is tied into the plumbing as well. So our plumbing engineer sets up that system for us because we know that above 2 floors, we are not getting more than 50 psi in terms of the water pressure for the units. So we have to have a specific system design that is able to provide a certain amount of water pressure for units as you go 3-4 floors up. So these professionals, in terms of the design aspect, they also work together to bring that design to life. Then separately and apart, we have to have our land surveyor that assesses in terms of our boundary surveys or topographic surveys. They set up the levels in terms of how we're going to set up the floor level for the building because the land may not be flat. And also that surveyor does what is called a strata plan. So when the units are complete in an apartment complex, that surveyor comes in and prepares a plan to capture all those units, right? So that we can get the title splintered to generate individual titles for the new units. And that's where the attorney at law also comes in to undertake the modification process that I had mentioned earlier. So the attorney at law would undertake, of course, aspects of the acquisition of the property. And then throughout the process, in terms of the contracts with the potential purchasers, in terms of doing the strata aspect, getting the parent title splintered and so on. So we have the attorney at law engaged there. In addition to that, we also have the quantity surveyor, who is the QS, as we call him. The quantity surveyor, they assess the cost of the building in terms of blocks, sand, cement, gravel, labor, materials, and all those essentials. So when the architect designs a plan, then we put that plan over to the quantity surveyor, and the quantity surveyor will say, okay, this is the cost. This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building. This is an example for the project that we are now of quantities for this project and what it entails. Wow. It's a huge document, and like I said, it includes all the essentials of the project. It covers every aspect from where construction is concerned. So all the costs for the project are contained in here. So this is our budget for the project. It's a process where the professionals work in stages sometimes together, and that is an essential part because you have to get that gel in order to get that finish. So in terms of what we have been able to achieve so far, we have a team that works on different projects at different times. So they're able now to understand, persons can engage, because when you find one issue, for example for the plumber, at times that issue is going to affect the electrician. And the solution for the plumber may also mean that the electrician is going to have to make adjustments as well. And sometimes we have to bring our architects on site as we go through to find some solutions, because that's really the nature of construction.
Don't go anywhere. Home Sweet Home will be right back.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home. We're still talking with Raymond Grant about his Gladstone Drive development from concept to completion.
Right.
And I now want to get into site prep. What does that involve?
Okay, the site prep is the aspect of the project where we take possession of the site to commence activities, but not the actual construction. Right. So what we do in that regard is we scope the site. We decide where we're going to be setting up our site office. We decide where we're going to be setting up our work amenities, right? In terms of our power supply that we may need to upgrade to accommodate the site works. Water supply as well, in terms of how much we're going to need. Is there a connection existing already? Is it sufficient to meet the demands that we're going to have on the site? In this case, luckily, there was a 4-bedroom house that had galvanized sheets in terms of the roofing. So what we were able to do was to deconstruct the house, remove the roofing, and use that roofing to create the hoarding that's necessary to create privacy and to prevent and reduce some of the nuisance to the neighbors and so on in terms of the construction with dust and noise and so on. So we were able to utilize in terms of the deconstruction, because some persons would think that you just go and you bulldoze a house down and you're gone, on your merry way, but that's really not the process. So we start with deconstruction, stripping the house, getting out things that can be reused on other locations or so on. The roof, if it can be removed, we remove the roof and so on. We have reused some of the burglar bars from the house on the container here. Some of the cupboards from the house we have reused. And in terms of the work amenity space, the water closets, the face basins and so on, we have reused most of those back for the workers, right? So our workers, because from time to time we have workers that come from out of town that have to sleep on site. So we ensure that they have good facilities in terms of how they operate and so on. So there's the benefit of using that process on your bottom dollar essentially. And then we set up our hoarding, simultaneously setting up our electricals. In this case, we had to set up a utility pole, relocate the meter from the house, set it up on the pole, and we actually brought in the containers that we are in now, believe it or not. And this was set up from scratch, where we got this container and we set it up to operate as our office. Because this is nice, right? Far side. In here? Yeah. Okay, cool. Once you have completed the deconstruction process, then we move to the demolition. The demolition process requires scoping out what you have to do, how many days is going to take, type of equipment that you're going to be needing to actually do that. Because yes, you can bring in, for example, a 950 bulldozer and you hit down the house, but then you have the foundation of the house to remove, to accommodate the new development that you're going to be putting in. So that requires the ability to scope it out, understanding what's at stake. For example, if you're bringing in trucks into a residential area to remove debris from your demolition, those trucks cannot be running at times when in the early mornings you have neighbors who are getting ready for work and so on. So we kind of set the time frame for those activities on the slower parts of the day when the trucks can move from site down to Riverton and back again to reduce the nuisance to the neighbors as much as possible. So we, in that demolition process, of course, we excavate the foundation of the existing property and we strip the site totally and make the site ready. So the prepping of the site essentially gets the site ready to commence construction, which would be the cutting of your foundations, right, to commence your new building.
Now, what happens when it rains? The construction has to stop, and does that affect anything that you are constructing?
Funny you ask that question, because when we just about started, there was some heavy rains in November of 2016, and we had to basically put a hold on operations for about a week and a half. But I'm happy to say that now we're actually 2 weeks ahead of schedule.
Oh, lovely.
Right, and part of the reason for that is that we can pace ourselves based on when certain, we call it acts of God, like rain or if there has to be an earthquake or so on would happen. What we do is we can choose to focus on aspects of the job that do not necessarily require physical presence on the site. So you can go into more detailed planning in terms of your aspects of your engineering again, or aspects of your architecture. In terms of your finishing, you can go about ordering, doing calculations to determine how many tiles you're going to need, how many materials you're going to need to finish certain aspects of the job. So even though the site may physically come to a halt, the project is still running, essentially, right? So what we do is our schedule that we have here captures all the aspects of the activities from the site prep that we mentioned all the way down to handing over of the units.
Raymond, thank you so much for giving us a more comprehensive understanding of what goes into the construction of a development.
You're welcome.
But I know there are other processes, so we will be back to hear more from you.
Certainly.
There is still so much more to be done to this development happening here on Gladstone Drive. Until next time, I'm Candy for Home Sweet Home.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent.